Lines read, it's all about the Canes, baby. How about the U last night out in the desert where they buried bodies? They got it done in the Fiesta Bowl. They won it 31-27 over a tough Ole Miss team to reach the national championship game in Miami at Hard Rock. Unbelievable performance by the Canes. And Beck got it done. He ran it in for the winning touchdown with 18 seconds left. The Hail Mary, everyone's complaining there was pass interference. Here's a news flash for you. They don't call pass interference on Hail Marys. I mean, there's bodies. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Canes get it done, and now they're going to be playing at Hardcock for the national championship against the winner of tonight's Indiana and Oregon game. We'll get into that. So it was 17-13 at the half in the desert, at the Toaster in Glendale, and then they just got it done. That's just all that matters. They got it done. They only scored once to Ole Miss's twice in the second half until the last score by Beck. And now they're going home and they're trying for their sixth national championship. So he scrambled for a 3-yard run with, seconds left in the game. Miami goes back for their first national title shot since 2001 after beating Ole Miss in that game last night. Beck said, we never flinched. He threw for 268 and 2 tutties with a pick. It didn't matter. He said, in the face of adversity, when we had to respond, we responded. The Canes 13-2 now, and they didn't even play in the ACC title game. They held A&M and the reigning national champs, Ohio State, to a combined 17 points to get to the semis. Then they shut down the high-scoring Rebels, who finished 13-2. They shut them down for 3 quarters, and then it was just a wild fourth quarter. Malachi Toney, hero of the win over A&M, turned a screen pass into a 36-yard tutty that put him up 24-19. But then Chambliss, a year removed from winning a D2 title at Ferrrall State, led the Rebels down the field and found Wright for a 24-yard tutty with 3 minutes left. Then it was Beck's shot at glory. He won a national title as a backup at Georgia before 2 big seasons as the Bulldogs starter. But he was calm when it mattered, moved him down the field. He's now 37-5 as a starter. He gets one more chance to win a championship, another ring against either the Hoosiers or the Ducks on January 19th at Hard Rock. Obviously, big chest. Mario Cristobal said he's hungry, he's driven, he's a great human being, and all he wants to do is see his teammates have success. And that's what we witnessed tonight. That's what he said last night. Of course, the 6th-seeded Rebels lost their coach before the playoff. Lane Kiffin screwed them and went to LSU. Speaking of LSU, you remember we were talking about that kid yesterday, Williams, who was going to, play at Washington for $4 million, signed a contract, then pulled out, said he was going in the transfer portal, and everybody thought he was going to LSU. We did a big bit on it yesterday on Ferrrall Unplugged, that it was absolute bullshit, and he's a backstabber, and you can't trust anyone anymore, and these contracts don't mean shit. You can't sign a contract and then not live up to it, or sign a contract and days later walk out of it because you don't like it, or you got a better offer backdoor or behind the scenes from $4 million to $6 million, whatever it was. What did he do? He turned around. My buddy, Dougie Fresh Hendrickson, his agent, dropped him. And then by the end of the night, he said, all right, I screwed up. I'm going to go back to Washington. So they either gave him more money or everyone gave him the business for screwing the Huskies and signing a contract and then breaking the contract, which was bullshit, to play the games that he played, to go back into the portal and then go to LSU or whatever he was going to do. He's decided finally to do the right thing, which I commend him on, and he's going to stay at Washington and play in Seattle. So back to the game. Pete Golding took over the Rebels for Lane Kiffin, and he had a bunch of Lane Kiffin assistants that are going to LSU, like Charlie Weiss Jr. All these guys are going to LSU with Kiffin, but they were still coaching Ole Miss last night, which I couldn't understand at all. They took the lead on Canero's fourth field goal at a game from 21 yards and seemed like they were going to win, but they didn't get it done. Chambliss completed 2 passes to get Ole Miss to the Miami 35 with 6 seconds left. They had hope. He heaved one into the end zone, incomplete. Time expired. That was it. Chambliss said, this team has just sacrificed a lot to get to this point. This season's been bumpy and there's been a lot of things going on. We kept our focus. It's been truly special. He threw for 277 and a tutty. Golding was calling the shots, and now they blew out Tulane in the opener, rallied in the second half to beat Georgia, rallied against Miami, took the lead, and then lost the semifinal to the Canes. So congratulations to Miami. That was incredible. Now, tonight, you know I like Indiana. I've said it before. I like them on the money line. I don't mind the minus 180. And obviously, it's part of the pay package. So what I did was I dealt with, like telling you, I like Indiana to win. I would money line it. And then everything else you can get on the site in terms of pay picks today and elite plays, max profit plays. And hopefully we'll hit that game tonight in Atlanta. It's at the Benz at 7:30, Oregon and Indiana. Of course, it's the Peach Bowl. Signetti's team, it's not just a good story. They're now an elite college football program. They beat them in Eugene, the Hoosiers, on the road at Outson Stadium, which is brutal to do. It's very hard to do. They won 30-20 on October 11th with the Ferrrall fall foliage, with the leaves falling in Eugene. Indiana 14-0. They crushed Alabama in the Rose Bowl 38-3, spanking that ass. A rematch now with Oregon, who's 13-1. They rocked Texas Tech 23-0 in the Orange Bowl. So Signetti hasn't faced a team twice in the same season since his Elon Phoenix split a pair of games with Furman back in 2017, losing the last game in the FCS playoffs. And now he's got to do it again. He has to get his team ready to face Oregon for the second time. And he said, I think it's more psychological, preparing to face him again. The one team that came up short has a little edge, so to speak, but at the end of the day, it's determined by what goes on between the white lines. It'll be a tremendous challenge because Oregon is very well coached and their players are really good. You put the best game plan together that you can, but at the end of the day, it's which team executes the best. In the first game, Oregon was held to a season low of 267 total yards, and Dante Moore threw 2 picks, and he got sacked like 5 times. Dan Lanning gets him ready for this game tonight. Lanning said, when games don't go your way, you're always trying to look for answers and reasons why. It's really simple. They block better, they tackle better, they move the ball better, they control the clock. You have to try to find moments where it was the difference. It's every play. Every play added up to what mattered. When you're playing a team with great technique and great schemes like Indiana, that's the edge. Moore has thrown for over 3,200 yards, 28 tutties for the Ducks. The Heisman winner, Fernando Mendoza, the Hoosiers, leads the nation with 36 tutties in the air, 3,172 yards, 72% completion percentage. That's crazy. He transferred from Cal, and he's now projected to be the number 1 pick in the draft in Pittsburgh in April. A lot of people think he's going to the Raiders. Mendoza said, beating a good team twice, not a good team, a great team twice, is extremely difficult. Oregon is star-studded on both O and D. Draft picks all across the board. They've changed a little bit throughout the season, but having to play them twice is going to be tough. It's going to be a great challenge for us. They're saying all the right things, and they're not talking shit, right? Coffee break. Anyway, Indiana had 715 all-time losses entering the season, right? And now Northwestern holds the dubious mark of being the worst program in the history of college football with the most losses. But their fan base drowned out the Tide at the Rose Bowl. It was all Indiana there. And obviously, they're hoping that the same thing happens at the Benz tonight in Atlanta. He said, I think having that home field advantage in Atlanta, which you never know until you get there, but assuming that we're not going to have to go to a silent count because of how far Eugene is from Atlanta, I think that would be huge for us. It being a neutral site game, usually it's 50-50, but hopefully there's more Hoosier fans there and on our side. Their leading rusher, Hemby, over 1,000 yards, 2 touchdowns when he faced Oregon. And Oregon's got the weapons. Benson, the receiver, the tight end, Sadiq. They combined for 87 catches, 14 tutties. They're a tough football team. Obviously, I'm scared of them. Obviously, I'm worried. Obviously, playing them twice is a pain in the dick. But the bottom line is they have no choice. They got to go out and play, and they got to go out and execute, and they got to go out and win. And that's just all there is to it. So I think it's going to be a fabulous game. And I want to get into the playoff games that are going to be going down this weekend. Obviously, the Pain Day wildcard weekend starts on Saturday. We'll get back to what's happening tonight in the NBA, College Rack, NHL in a minute. So Saturday, there's 2 games. You got the Rams and Panthers in Charlotte, and the Rams are 12-5. The Panthers are 8-9, and the game's at 4:30 on Fox. Obviously, the Rams are the 5, the Panthers are the 4. The Rams are better than the Panthers. That's all there is to it. That's why they're laying 10.5. And the number is 46, the total. That game's on Fox at 4:30. I mean, Matt Stafford, everybody thinks he's going to the Super Bowl, right? Everybody thinks he's going, at the very least, to the NFC Championship game. Everybody thinks it's going to be a walk in the park playing the Panthers in Charlotte on the road. Are you really going to lay 10.5 points in a playoff game? I mean, do you really think that the Panthers are that bad? I mean, I look at it as are they defensively good enough to cover that number? They need to stop the Rams from just lighting it up. If Stafford's going to throw 3 or more touchdown passes, they'll cover the 10.5. But if they can keep it, humble and let him only throw 2, and then they have problems on the road and not just slinging it everywhere and doing whatever they want, they might cover the number. You never know. It's going to be rainy, but 70 degrees, like 69, 70 degrees. They're saying rain for this game. But either way, it all starts at 4:30, the first game, the Rams. The Rams have been great. I mean, Puka Shells is great. Nakua. Their defense, I think, is ferocious. They got a great pass rush and linebackers. They mean business. These teams that win 12 and 13 games are for real. That's the bottom line. What they do is they go out and they execute and they win. Teams that go 8-9, I mean, all 3 teams in the South had the same 8-9 record, and because of divisional wins, that's how the Panthers ended up getting the playoff spot over the Buccaneers, etc. So that's why the spread's as big as it is, because the Rams are flat out better than the Panthers. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. It's going to be a real good one. A battle in the North. Always the same story. When the Packers and Bears hook up, this time at Soldier Field in the Windy City, Chicago's getting 1.5, and 44.5 is the number. It's on Prime. In prime time. How about this? Snow, allegedly. But they say it's going to be 37 degrees, so how the fuck is it going to snow? 37's warm in Chicago. Now, I don't know what the wind's going to be like. The Packers are the 7 seed at 9-7-1. The Bears are the 2 seed at 11-6. I thought that all season long I told the Prophet that I thought the Bears were a sleeper team and that they were going to do damage in the playoffs and that they were tough and they get no respect and they get no juice whatsoever when it came to odds to do anything in the postseason in the playoffs. I got to tell you, I really liked them. But when I watched them play the Lions last week, and I know they didn't start everybody, but I thought they looked like shit. I thought their defense looked like shit. I thought overall it was a pathetic performance. I know they came back, and I know they tied it late, but they still lost the game. And the reason why I'm worried about him is that Goff just did whatever he wanted. Goff and St. Brown went off. I mean, the guy must have caught 15 passes. He literally slung the ball all over the field. Every time he threw it, it was complete. Every time he made a pass, somebody caught it. They gained yards. Williams, the tight ends, Brown. I mean, they just were unstoppable. Everybody brags about the Bears' great defense with their secondary, with all their picks. But are they really going to pick off Love all day? Because it's going to be Love. And they're getting Watson back. And I think the Packers are going to throw the ball all over the Bears and not throw picks. I don't think Love throws picks. I think he's smart. I think they're a dangerous team on the road in Chicago that can beat the Bears. I really do. We'll see if we bet on them on Saturday or not. Now, Sunday's schedule has, at 1 o'clock, coffee break. I have to take coffee breaks because I balled this morning for 90 minutes. I played a bunch of basketball, and I'm thirsty, and I'm beat up, and etc. I'm going to go to the cold tub and go in the Arctic sub-zero water and freeze my feet. My feet are usually the problem. My feet get really sore after I play 90 minutes, and then I'm going to play again tomorrow morning really early. But the 1 o'clock game on Sunday, Pain Day wildcard style, is the 6-seed Buffalo against the 3-seed Jacksonville. And it's on CBS and Paramount Plus. The Bills are laying 1.5 on the road, favored 51.5 is the total. The thing is, are you serious that Josh Allen's going to lose a playoff game in the first round in the wild card? He's going to go into the playoffs and lose in the wild card. After all these years of going to the title game and losing to Mahomes, he's going to go lose to the Jaguars in Jacksonville. And that's going to be that. You know, if this guy loses this game, I don't think he'll ever win a Super Bowl. I don't think Buffalo will ever win a Super Bowl with him. They keep getting close as a cigar, and they never get it done. And now what? They're going to get dropped in the first game on the road in Jacksonville against the Jaguars. I know the Jags are the higher seed, and they're 13-4 to the Bills, 12-5. That's great. I know the Jags have been really good. You know, I think throwing the ball, Lawrence has been great. Their running game has been average. Their defense has been very impressive. Their coach, Cohen, has done an incredible job. I'll give you that. But do you really think that Lawrence is going to beat Josh Allen? Why do you think Josh Allen is favored by 1.5? This guy doesn't lose playoff games. He loses to Patrick Mahomes in the title game. That's what he does, right? A lot of people thought with Mahomes gone that Josh Allen was going to the Super Bowl, right through to the Super Bowl. And some people still believe that. Now, I got guys that I bet with that I know are good bettors that are all over the Jags. Like whales that are betting on the Jaguars to beat the Bills. I'm not so sure, man. I'm not doubting Josh Allen. Are you telling me you're taking Trevor Lawrence over Josh Allen in a big game? I don't think I can do it. At 4:30, it's the 6 San Francisco against the 3 Philadelphia at the Lincoln for Philadelphia on Fox. Philly's laying 5.5, 44.5 is the number. Here's the thing. I know a lot of people, same whales, that are on San Francisco in this game on the road. Now, I can see them covering 5.5. I can see it happening. Fair enough. Purdy and the Niners are tough. But didn't we just see the Niners puke all over themselves at home, at Levi's, at Stonewatch Denim Jeans? Did they not just lose to Seattle? Did we not see them in the last game in Week 18 get punked 13-3 on their home field? Now they're going to a place against a team that doesn't lose at home. Did the Eagles not roll and win the Super Bowl last year and kick the Chiefs' ass? They knocked their fucking teeth out of their mouth. They don't lose at the Link. I still think, even though all these people I know are betting the Niners in the 5.5, which I guess is a good bet, I still think it's Philly. I still think it's Philly by a touchdown or more at the Link. It's impossible to me to see anyone, I don't care who you are, going in there and pushing them around. I think the Eagles will be relatively healthy, and I think they'll go there in their building in front of their drunk fans, and I think they'll win by 7 or more. I really do. That's what I think today. So we'll see if I change my mind on Sunday. The primetime game at 8 o'clock at night on Sunday is the 7 Chargers against the 2 Pats at Gillette in Foxborough on NBC. The Pats are laying 3.5, 46 is the total. It's going to be allegedly wet and 41. So rain and 41. In that Philly game, rain and 45. In that Buffalo Jags game, sun and 68 degrees. So that's perfect weather. And the other 2 games allegedly are going to be wet. The Pats are 14-3. They didn't get there because they suck. They got there because they're good at everything. Everything, all 3 phases, whatever you want to call it. Offense, D, special teams, they do it all. They're well coached. Vrabel's done a hell of a job. Some people might say the coach of the year. May's an incredible performer. He's been great. A lot of people talk about him being the MVP. Some people say it's Stafford. Do you think Stafford at 12 wins has been better than May at 14? I don't. I think May's been better. I think the Pats will beat the Chargers. And I know a lot of people betting on the Chargers. They're taking the Chargers out in the cold, wet at night in Foxborough. The last time they played a playoff game in Foxborough, I know Brady was the quarterback. I don't give a shit. I mean, Brady was winning 14 games. May won 14 games. They put 48 on the Chargers' ass. I mean, right in their ass. I think the Pats are the better team. I really do. And then Monday night in the Steel City on the 12th. So Monday Night Football is a wild card game. It's the Texans, the 5 against the 4 Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll be there for this one. I'm taking my son and my buddy. We're going to the game. I have season tickets, obviously. I always buy the playoff tickets as well. The Steelers, 10-7. They won the North. Fuck the Ravens. They got Harbaugh fired. Bottom line, they fired John Harbaugh, who all he does is win. And then he won a Super Bowl, but I guess it wasn't good enough, losing the last 2 years. And the Steelers win the North. They won that game 26-24 last Sunday night. It was incredible after Luke missed the field goal. And now they take on the hot Texans, who are 12-5, have won 8 in a row. Stroud has been lighting it up. And they have the best defense, bar none, in the NFL. It is going to be a bitch scoring against that defense. The total is 38.5. Everybody thinks it's going to be an under. Everybody's on the Texans. Know this. The Steelers haven't lost a Monday Night Football game at home in 33 years. The Steelers getting points at home. What happened last week against Baltimore? Getting 3.5 against the Ravens. Not only did they cover, they won. Even if Luke made the field goal, they would have covered. So I think it's going to be an incredible game. I've heard all that I can hear. Allegedly snow and 36. I'm not buying it. I've seen 28 and clear. 25 and clear and cold. The Texans, they don't like playing outside in the cold. They don't like playing at night in Pittsburgh. The last time they were there in the playoffs against the Steelers, Antonio Brown lit them up and the Steelers kicked their ass. This is a better Texans team this year. This team that's coming in there Monday night is better. Their defense is sick. They are a problem for the Steelers. The problem is, for the Texans, is that Aaron Rodgers, he has the most playoff yards ever. And in big games, you see what he does. How did he do against the Ravens? He beat their ass. Those passes he threw, I mean, it was unbelievable, the passes that he threw in that game. He was throwing ropes nonstop. The winner to Austin in the corner was incredible. Thielen, that pass to Thielen was right in his ear from like 35 yards. The pass to Freiermuth was sick. Getting Watt back helped him. Cam Hayward was a badass. Connor Hayward was a badass. They need that big-ass number 1 pick, Harmon, to be a badass, the defensive tackle up front. The Steelers have to get to Stroud and body slam him in the cold turf. Cold, hard turf. Throw his ass down. Rough his ass up. That's what I want to see on Monday night. The games are going to be incredible. That's for sure. All right, let's go back to what's happening in terms of, well, I never told you what happened last night outside of the Canes win. right? So let's do that quickly. Pacers won in Charlotte by 2. Minnesota covered for us on a ticket, 131-122. We cashed that. They covered the 2.5. Dallas lost by a bucket in Utah. Jazz covered 5.5. The Miami-Chicago game was postponed, condensation on the floor. I'm just going to give you ones that matter. Michigan State by 10 over Northwestern. I only care about games that matter at this point. I really do. There's so many shitty games last night. It's not even funny. I mean, they're just awful, one after the next. And then I think, let's see, one of the late night games we had action on. We lost the San Francisco Dons in double overtime. They lost by 2. We were getting 1.5. We were getting 1.5, and they lost by 2. You got to be fucking kidding me. Gonzaga by 12 over Santa Clara. Santa Clara covered 17.5. Ohio State beat Oregon by 10. The Buckeyes covered 1.5 as a dog. Oregon State by 13 over Seattle. They covered 4.5 as a dog. Overtime. Portland beat Pacific by 1. Portland covered 2.5 as a home dog. Fullerton beat UC San Diego. I told you you can't count on them. I thought they were for real. They're not. They don't cover. 88-71 Fullerton. Irvine by 10 over Long Beach. Long Beach covered 10.5. Pepperdine got blown out by San Diego. San Diego covered 4.5. Bakersfield by 1 over Riverside. Riverside covered as the dog. Santa Barbara lost to Davis. Davis 93-86. Davis covered 4.5. Montana by 6 over Idaho. Montana covered. Montana State by 4 over Eastern Washington. Montana State covered. Overtime, UTEP by 3 over Middle Tennessee. UTEP covered 3.5 as a dog. New Mexico State blew out Western Kentucky and covered. Louisiana 85-79 over Monroe. Monroe covered. Illinois 81-55 over Rutgers. They covered the 22.5. I didn't think they would, but they did. Overtime. Southern Miss 80-70 over Texas State. Southern Miss covered. I think that's about it in terms of good games. Like, I'm not missing anything that's major. App State by 2 over Georgia State. App State covered 1.5. Louisiana Tech lost to Liberty. Liberty covered easily. They blew them out. Monmouth by 11 over William and Mary. Monmouth covered. I think that's just about it in terms of games. It is. All right, as far as the NHL last night, we hit a ticket for you. The Edmonton Oilers, they rallied. They were down 2-0. They won 4-3 in Winnipeg. Vegas 5-3 over Columbus. Minnesota in overtime 3-2 over Seattle. We lost that ticket. Fuck my ass. I mean, they had it and blew it on home ice. And we had cashed a bunch of Seattle Kraken tickets with you. Nashville 2-1 in a shootout over the Islanders. Penguins win again. Malkin scored in his return to the lineup 4-1 over the Devils. Buffalo 4, make it 5-2 over the Rangers. We liked Buffalo. We told you we liked Buffalo. The Rangers don't have a goalie. They're going with Quick to back up. He's old. They've lost Shesterkin and Fox. They got nothing but problems right now. Bet against them and you'll make money. Toronto in overtime over Philly 2-1. Lawton the winner. Montreal we gave you over Florida on FU yesterday 6-2. They beat Florida. We gave you Detroit yesterday 5-1. They beat Vancouver. We gave you Boston yesterday on FU 4-1. They beat Calgary. And we gave you Carolina 5-2 over Anaheim. We gave you all those on Ferrrall Unplugged. All right, so tonight, Friday, Payne Freestyle, 7:30 ESPN, the Peach Bowl, Oregon and Indiana in the college football semifinal. The winner meets Miami January 19th at Hard Rock for the national championship. NBA, Toronto's at Boston. Boston laying 8.5. Coffee break. Phillies at Orlando. Phillies laying 2.5. Some places 3. New Orleans at Washington. Washington getting 2.5. I wonder if Ice Trey is going to play tonight. He got traded to the Wizards, of course. Clippers are in Brooklyn. Brooklyn getting 3.5. Oak City at Memphis. Memphis getting 4.5. Atlanta's at Denver. Denver's laying 1.5. I love Denver at home tonight. New York's at Phoenix. Phoenix getting 1.5. I think the Knicks are better than them. Sack against Golden State. Golden State laying 14.5. I don't think they can beat anyone by 14.5. I really don't. Portland at home getting 6.5 from Houston. I still like Houston. And Milwaukee and the Lakers. Lakers at home on the Crip floor. NBA TV at 10:30. They're laying 3. I like the Lakers. College basketball. Miami of Ohio laying 1.5 at Toledo. Ryder at Fairfield. Fairfield laying 8.5. Detroit getting 4.5 from Wright State. Iona laying 10.5 to Niagara. Canisius getting 6.5 at Manhattan. St. Peter's getting 1.5 at the Mount. Cleveland State getting 14.5 at Oakland. Green Bay laying 8.5 to IU Indianapolis. Northern Kentucky getting 3.5 at Milwaukee. Akron laying 2.5 at Bowling Green. USC and Minnesota at Williams Arena in Minneapolis on the Big Ten Network at 8:30. Minnesota laying 3.5. I think USC can beat them outright. 10 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. UNLV and Colorado State. And Colorado State's laying 6.5. I like Colorado State at home. By the way, that Akron game at 8, we have action on that on the paid picks. That game's on CBS Sports Network at 8. Marist laying 6.5. Marist laying 6.5 at Sacred Heart. Merrimack getting 5.5 at Siena. That's everything. As far as hockey, Washington and Chicago. I told you already on the podcast today, I like Chicago plus $1.25. LA's at Winnipeg. Winnipeg blew that game last night. I bet they win tonight. LA's in there. The Jets played well last night and lost to the Oilers. They're a great team. LA's better than them as well, but I bet Winnipeg steals a game. And I like Utah at home over St. Louis. Literally, that's everything. So you get it all. Mickey's in India. So I banged out another F&P podcast that covers you for Friday night, Saturday's NFL playoff games, in Sunday's wild cards and Monday night's wild card. I will tell you, let's at least look at Saturday. I just want to give you a look at. I'm going to do this. I'm going to see if I can get these top 25 games on Saturday in college rack for you. Tennessee's at Florida. Nebraska's at Indiana. BC's at Louisville. Kansas at West Virginia. I'll tell you what, Nebraska's been great. I won't be surprised at all to go to Indiana and beat Indiana. But let's see how many points Indiana gets in that game. Florida, tough at home. I think they can beat 21-ranked Tennessee. DePaul's at UConn. I like UConn. It's on TNT at 12:30. Wisconsin's at Michigan. I like Michigan at home. It's on CBS at 1. LSU's at number 11, Vandy. I love Vandy. Number 7, Houston at Baylor. I like Houston on the road. SMU ranked 24th at number 6, Duke at Cameron Indoor. 2 o'clock on ESPN. I like Duke. Penn State's at number 5, Purdue at 2 on Big Ten Network. I like Purdue. Number 18, Georgia at South Carolina on the Deuce at 2. I kind of like Georgia. 2:15, Stanford at Virginia. I like Virginia. 4 o'clock, Oak State at Iowa State at Hilton in Ames. I love Iowa State. 4 o'clock, number 1, Arizona at TCU. I like Arizona. Wake's at number 17, North Carolina. I like Carolina at home. That game's at 6. Arkansas ranked 15th at Auburn. I like Auburn at home over Arkansas at the Neville. And 7 o'clock, Texas Tech ranked 14th at Colorado. Give me Colorado in the points. 8 o'clock, Texas at number 13, Alabama. Texas always tough. Depending on how many points they get, they might cover, but I like Alabama to win that game on the money line. 10 o'clock, number 9, BYU at Utah. I still like BYU. Sunday, I just want to tell you Sunday, top 25, number 16, Illinois at number 19, Iowa in Iowa City. I like the Hawkeyes. 5 o'clock, Cincinnati at number 25, UCF. I think that's going to be a tight game. I like the over. So that's everything. In terms of Saturday and Sunday, I'll go backwards. Sunday in the NBA, a really good game. Philly's at Toronto. Miami's at Oak City. Those are really good games. How about San Antonio at Minnesota at 7 o'clock on Sunday? The Knicks are in Portland at 6 o'clock. Saturday in the NBA, the Clippers are in Detroit at 7:30. San Antonio and the Celtics in Boston at 8 is the game of the day. Dallas and Cooper Flagg are in Chicago. And Minnesota at 1 o'clock, a day game on Saturday. Minnesota at Cleveland. They played in Target last night, and we gave you Minnesota minus 2.5. This time on Saturday at 1 o'clock, give me the Cavs at the Rocket. So you get everything. There's everything. We gave you everything on the F&P pod today. I'm going to consider this the F&P weekend podcast, and it can just run this motherfucker Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You'll be good to go. Check for the Max Profit and Profit Play videos on Friday. We'll do fresh ones on Saturday and Sunday. Mickey's still in India, so let him do his thing. I'll worry about all this. Enjoy the Indiana-Oregon game, and we'll see you again soon. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the NFL wildcard games, 2 Saturday, 3 Sunday, and I'll be reporting from Pittsburgh on, at the very least, Monday morning and Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning. So I'm going to the Steeler game, then I'm going to the Penguins Lightning game Tuesday night, and I'm coming back to New York City on Wednesday. So I'm going to do everything from Pittsburgh. So I'll check you out from the Steel City. Let's make some money on a pain-free Friday. I have to say, go Hoosiers. You know, I went to IU. I got to be rooting for my Hoosiers. I'm a Canes fan in football. I've always been a Canes fan first in football. I'm an IU basketball dude, but I'm rooting for those Hoosiers. I like what Signetti's done. I'll always root for the Hoosiers, except if they play the Canes in a national championship game. So I'm going to get that Canes 6 championship, 6 national titles. They're going for number 6, and they're playing at home at Hard Rock, and that place is going to be sold out and lit and on its ear. Have a great Friday. Let's make some money together, and have a great weekend. Check out. Ooh.